Hi, my name is Darren from HTJ.Tax, and we're the team that seeks to demystify that sometimes confusing world of international tax. And today we have the honor and privilege of speaking with George. George, can you please introduce yourself?
Thank you, Darren. My name is George Dimov. I'm a certified public accountant, and I have a team of 14 senior professionals. And what we do is the same type of thing: demystify taxes as much as possible, and with a focus in international and typically complex situations.
Fantastic.
In terms of preferred jurisdictions for international trust, which jurisdictions are you in favor of, and which ones are you probably not too much of a big fan of? Because I know everyone has their preferences, right?
The one, if you type in just regular places for asset protection in terms of creating trusts or creating different entity structures, you're going to see a list of them. Some of them are, as you correctly said, red flagged. I'll focus on the one that we have been working on the last, I'd say, 2-3 years. There's an attorney that we collaborate with, and I'll provide his information as a link later. But he always chooses the Cook Islands, and there's quite a few reasons, and I'm sure and this is something where I'll interview you a little bit too. And if we have some Q&A at the end, I have so many questions for you based on the topics you have. You have amazing material, by the way, online. I have some questions through listening to some of your podcasts or through seeing some of the topics on the most viewed ones. I have some questions for you. And one of them relates to that and what you've been seeing. But we do see the Cook Island Trust being strongly preferred by our clients. They have the strongest asset protection laws globally. These are things where you can have litigation, you can have bankruptcy in your home country, and it's just so much harder to touch in the Cook Islands. So that's typically where we do this. Now, remember, anytime that you have a foreign trust is a U.S. filing person, and I'm saying U.S. filing person because for United States purposes, many immigrants or many people that are even U.S. citizens have a lot of confusion around what that means when you have a requirement to file as a U.S. person. Okay, I'm referring to people that are living in the United States but must file, okay, as a U.S. person. And that doesn't necessarily mean that their immigration status is that they are a lawful citizen or that they're even a green card holder. Okay, there's a difference between immigration-related U.S. residency and tax residency, and we can get into that. But if they have U.S. tax residency, okay, and if they have a foreign trust, okay, then they have to file a 3520A form and a 3520 often as well. Okay, and that becomes very complicated. And if you miss that, the penalties for this are huge. Okay, I've had clients that have had a $1.2 million penalty, a $600,000 penalty. And I'll say clients, not ones where we caused the penalty, but where they received the penalty letter and then hired us to essentially fix it. I'm sure you've seen those as well. So you cannot, and I've seen these penalties arise even from typos on the 3520. Okay, I saw a case where somebody by accident used the previous year forms, but was clear on everything that they did that was for the current year that they were filing for, and the IRS gave them, I believe it was a $600,000 penalty, something to that effect, or $650,000, and we fought it and we removed it. It took 16 months total. By the way, I'll throw that in, that once you do get a penalty, fighting it does take time, and it's very nerve-wracking because the IRS doesn't give you any information, okay, and you're just sitting there hoping that they are processing your case. And we've had clients, panicked every few weeks asking for updates, and whether or not we call the IRS countless times, we'll still get the same answer: oh, we've received it and it's in line for processing, or it's being looked at. So I'll caution people, yes, you definitely use a strategy for international. Cook Islands is completely fine, but just make sure that your United States tax compliance is very, very rock solid.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. George, if someone wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do that?
My website is a great way. You can go on our website, which is DimovTax. It's my last name. That's EIMOV tax.com. Or you can send an email directly at info@DimovTax.com. Those are two great ways to get in touch with us. We also have a phone number. You can also call us. And the best phone number is 833-829-1120. That's +1 833-829-1120.
Fantastic. Thank you.